All right, what's going on, Giants fans? Day after rational thoughts from the Browns beating the Giants on Sunday Night Football, 20-6. So, going to give some rational thoughts, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on the offense. But first, I want to talk about the Joe Judge fourth down decisions. And honestly, I don't want to spend much time on this because everyone's already made up their mind on that, and it's not something I really care about changing people's mind on one way or the other. It really isn't. Like it's a for this game, it's a big deal, but big picture, it doesn't come into my mind, and we're in week 15 at this point. So I'll go quickly through the fake field goal. Didn't like that. If you're gonna go for it there, just line up your offense, or if you're gonna run a trick play, it's got to be something where pre-snap is gonna open up. It was a total guess that they wouldn't cover Nick Gates, and they covered Nick Gates. It wasn't Riley Dixon missing Graham Gano. It was supposed to leave Nick Gates wide open in the back of the end zone. That didn't happen. They covered it. I'm not gonna get mad at Riley Dixon for not going through his progression. Didn't like that. The second one where they handed it off to Gallman, you 100% have to go for it at that point. To me, I go for that time. I go for it there 10 times out of 10. You got to get those yards. Now, could they have lined up behind center and brought in a fullback? Yeah, I would have done that instead of just handing it off out of the gun. But I'm totally okay with that. I'm not going to play the results on that one. And then the third one, which was in the third quarter, 6 minutes left, down by 10 at the Cleveland 44, 4th and 4. I would have went for it there because you're probably only going to get the ball a couple more times, and that's what happened. They only got the ball 2 more times after that. So I would have went for it there. But anyways, I really don't want to spend a lot of time on that. So let's move on. Let's talk about this offense and the differences we saw in it. Now, they only put up 6 points, which is not good, so it wasn't a good offensive night. But we saw some good traits from this offense. We saw some good traits. And we were talking about finishing. Like, you have to finish. The offense didn't finish. But they got into Cleveland territory on the first 4 drives. All 4 of the first 4 drives. Last week against Arizona, they didn't get into there until the third quarter. All 4 of the first 4 drives, they got into Cleveland territory. You have the fake field goal, an actual field goal, the 4th and 1 they go for it, and then the 4th and 4 at the 44. And then they had 6 total drives. There's 8, but 1 was a kneel down, and then the last 3 plays of the game when the game's over. So 6 real drives. They got into Cleveland territory on 5 of those 6, and were in field goal range, and 4 of the 5 that they made it in there. So the offense was able to move the ball kind of well. And I wasn't expecting Freddie Kitchens to change much from Jason Garrett, but he did. He opened up the route concepts downfield, and it opened up this offense. I mean, Colt McCoy, I'll go through the stats. He had 15 throws that were 10 or more yards, which we're going to talk about that stat a little more too. He had 15 of those throws. On those throws, he was 6 of 15, 128 yards, 8.5 yards per attempt. So the completion percentage isn't good, but the yards per attempt is there. It led to them getting down in scoring position, and that's been our argument all year, is that sacrifice a little completion percentage to get that more yards per attempt on more attempts. And that's what happened in this game. And what it also did is opening it up downfield, like we've been saying, will make the quick game more effective. It will, because what happens when you attack 2-3 routes downfield? What happens? Well, that means they're covering downfield. That means you got a linebacker bailing out. That means you can't have a safety come and crash down. And what did that lead to? Well, on the throws that were less than 10 yards, Colt McCoy was 13 of 16, 93 yards, 5.8 yards per attempt. That's good numbers. That's good numbers for those type of throws. That's why you saw Levine Toilolo have a 13-yard catch. Elijah Penny have a 9-yard catch. It wasn't because of great route running. It's because they were covering deep. The underneath was open. The check down was open underneath, where with Jason Garrett, the check down has been covered. Or if it's not covered, it's only 2 yards, or you're having to throw it into a tight window. It opened up the underneath, and it's something we've been asking for. And even on like the throws downfield, Jones, you can make an argument that he hits that throw to Ingram in the end zone. And there's like one on the sideline. So that is what we've been asking for all year, and it showed that it worked. It moves the ball downfield. Now, they do have to finish. They have to finish. You can't be happy with the offensive performance. They have to finish. But overall, big picture-wise, what we saw from the playbook last week, this Sunday, is what we should have been seeing all season with Daniel Jones. It's what Daniel Jones thrives in. And you have a better idea of who Daniel Jones is, because that's the offense he likes to play in. That's the offense he's better in. So right now, it feels like you have a big fat I don't know with Jones. I know people have strong opinions, one way or the other. But this year, it's hard to evaluate because it seemed like they didn't play to his strengths, which is what we saw Sunday night, was what Daniel Jones' strengths were. And like Colt McCoy threw the ball 10 plus yards 15 times. 15 times. Guess what? How many times Daniel Jones has done that this season? 0. His most is 10. And that happened 3 times. His passing attempts in those games, 41, 40, and 32. Colt McCoy last night, 31. So one game where it was basically the same. The other was 8 more attempts, and they had 5 less 10 plus. And this is Daniel Jones, who's the highest rated deep ball thrower in the NFL this year. Sacrifice some of that rating for more yards, which leads to more points. It leads to more points. They didn't finish today, but playing that type of offense is the offense that the Giants have been playing all year. And Freddie Kitchens did it. Credit to Freddie Kitchens for doing that and not being afraid. Not coaching afraid. What else do we have? I mean, think about it this way. Colt McCoy looked competent last night. He didn't look competent versus Seattle. They averaged 4.7 yards per pass attempt versus Seattle, who is the worst passing defense in the NFL by a lot. Last night, 7.3 yards per attempt. That's a big difference. That's a big difference, and it was against a much better defense. A much better defense. Cleveland, their defense isn't all world, but it's a better defense than what Seattle has, who's the worst in the NFL. I mean, it looked more competent, and Jones probably hits a couple more of those throws. Whatever you think of Jones, like he's better than Colt McCoy, so Jones maybe hits a couple of those throws, man. It seems like we've been asking for this all year, and as soon as Jason Garrett's gone, you see it. It's a shame that it took COVID to do that. It's a shame. It's a shame. But you can't. If you're looking at this big picture wise, not in the short term, you have to say this is the type of offense. I'm not saying you got to make Freddie Kitchens the OC, but this is the type of offense you should run. This is it. And I feel a lot better about Joe Judge today than I did yesterday. Want to know why? Has nothing to do with fourth down calls. I was worried that this offense was Joe Judge's offensive philosophy, that he was forcing on this offense. Last night shows that that's probably not true, which gave me a lot more confidence in Joe Judge, where that was my main issue with him. Is like, I think he has a lot more to do with this offense than we think. It seems like this offense has been a Jason Garrett production. They've got to move on, guys. They have to move on. I'm not saying it has to be for Freddie Kitchens, but it has to be someone who attacks vertically. Because it doesn't mean just throwing the ball deep all the time. It means you throw the ball deep, it opens stuff up underneath, and we saw that. The numbers show that. They got into Cleveland territory on their first 4 drives, 5 out of 6. Now the results suck. 6 points at the end of the night suck. But that has a lot more to do with some other things than the route concepts, and that is my big takeaway. Was attacking downfield is better for this offense, and we saw it. Offensive line played really well. It sucks they gave up the sack on that last play of the game because, they shut them down really good. Pass blocking wise, Andrew Thomas was nice. O-line report will be out tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to that because I thought they played well. I thought they played well in the run game. I'm interested to see Lemieux and Hernandez, who their snap counts were closer than they have been since Hernandez came back, so that'll be interesting. And then obviously Andrew Thomas, nice bounce back game. On the defensive side of the ball, they only gave up 20 points, big picture, but they just weren't able to slow down Baker, and missing Bradbury hurt, and Julian Love, there's plays where it's like Julian Love wasn't playing horrible, but it's like if Bradbury's there, that's a difference on that play. But Julian Love, he hasn't played cornerback since 2018, so I'm not mad at Love, and I think you can still try him out at corner, like see what you got there. That's something we've wanted, something I gave up on that. And it seems like they were willing to try it. So maybe you see him play there a little more, especially with Adrian Colbert coming back as a safety. They're missing a pass rusher. Baker had all time to throw. They're missing someone who can get there in 3 seconds. Like I understand a lot of people are like, well, you get the ball out quicker. It's more about coverage, but there's a lot of plays, and especially on third down, where you can't get the ball out quick if you're a quarterback. You can't run, what you want to run. You're going to have to sit in that pocket. You're going to have to read a defense, and you're going to have to find a hole. But when you have no pass rusher, it gives that QB all day long, and I think we're missing a pass rusher. But at the end of the day, they did only give up 20 points. Like I'm not mad at this defense, thinking about not having Bradbury and Darnay Holmes, who's been really solid. So there's that. The run defense was really well. They held Chubb and Hunt, who, this is probably the best running offense in the NFL, to 22 carries for 72 yards, 3.27 yards per carry. That's really good. Dex played awesome. Not just the tackle for a loss in the sack, but he was wreaking havoc in the run game. And Blake Martinez, man, he is so good. He is so refreshing to watch at middle linebacker. He reads stuff. He does it quickly. He does it smartly. He's not over aggressive. He's just a fun linebacker to watch, man. Like, he has been such a huge piece for this Giants defense, man, and I don't think we realize how good he is sometimes. Another 10 tackles, so good on Blake. Am I missing anything? I mean, Devontae Downs stinks. I don't know if that would be my one big criticism of Patrick Graham is why do we continue to put Devontae Downs on the field? It just seems like you're not gaining anything. It's not like it would be one thing if he's better run defender than Crowder and Mayo, but he's not, and he's definitely not a better pass defender. So I don't get that. So overall, it sucks to lose. We're one game back, which is nuts. It sucks to lose, but big picture, I actually saw some things I liked from this game. So if you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all that bull crap. And we'll have the O-line report out tomorrow. We'll have some good stuff. So appreciate you guys. Let's go Big Blue.